I can now. Okay, great. So I don't have too many slides. I just want to, talk to you guys. I've been in your place at the start of my career as a aspiring salesperson, and I'll give you some interesting experiences from my career, how I probably got into more of sales, right, and business development area. So let's get started. Give me 1 second. Where is this? Okay. So what I've enjoyed always in my career, I've enjoyed being part of early stage startups and startups where you're building stuff, where you're selling stuff. If you look at startups, right, and startups are the craze right now, and in fact in my next job at Microsoft, my focus is the startup segment, right, for working with startups, selling to startups, and so on and so forth. So quickly, if you look at it, there are two jobs that in any company, big or small, two jobs that matter. Either you're building something or you're selling something. If you're building, you are either an engineer or and typically in technology companies, you are an engineer or a product manager, or you're selling. Everybody else is just there to support you. HR, admin, finance. Everybody is primary supporting function to ensure that people can build something and people can sell something. So it is one of the most important jobs in any organization, or I would say the most important job in any organization. What we will talk today, right? We will focus mostly on B2b sales and focus on startups, and most of the content is available on web, but my experiences are something that I've lived through in my career. If you look at sales is primarily or organizations are of two kinds, B2B and B2C. I hope most of you are aware of this concept, B2B and B2C. B2B is when you are selling to another business, a business to business, or B2C is when you are selling to an end consumer, like Kapil, like Charan, like Mahfouz, or Shivajit, right? These are individuals that you are selling to. B2C is a different ball game, right? Unless, for example, most B2C is in the startup world is led by digital marketing. So it has its own dynamics, right? It has its own dynamics of social media, lead generation, marketing, and so on and so forth. B2B sales again uses the same channel for marketing in a different way, but eventually has a very, very strong role for individual salespeople, right? Like you and me, like our teams, right? Who go in front of customers and sell products or solutions that our companies are building. So this is what we will talk about. Not a very, very formal presentation. We will. I'll give a sense of things that I have seen important during my career at different companies. Right. One is very important thing. Whether it's a startup or a large company, your mindset has to be of a sales rep, which is essentially to see opportunity, which is the mindset of being able to talk of value in a product, right, or the benefits to a customer. We never talk of products, never talk of services, we talk of what the value to the end customer is. What is the problem that you're trying to solve for it? This is just I would say, humorous content around, typically the joke says the pessimist says half glass empty and the optimist says half glass full. But the sales rep says, why don't we talk about the benefits of ice? Because he's trying to probably sell you ice, right? So with that, right, let's just get started.
Kapil, one request, can you put this on slideshow mode? Because, the slides are not moving. So
it is on slideshow mode, no?
No, it's not actually. So we're just able to see the slide sort of.
Now?
Yeah, I think now it should pop. It's still not popped up. Can you just click once more?
I did. It is. 1 second. Is it okay now?
Yep. Yes. It's now on full speed mode. Thanks so much.
Sure. So how many of you are aware of something called as product market fit? So if you look at the life of any startup, right, and whenever you go to startups, talk to startups for job, one thing you realize is a startup builds a new product ground up, Sometimes that the product does not have a competition, sometimes they may have a competition. But what is very important is, in every startup's life, there is a stage called whether they have achieved product market fit or have they have not achieved product market fit. And what we mean there is, you have a product which has a user experience, which has a set of features, which has a set of value prop to the end customer. And then if you look at the entire market is the universe, but you need to figure out who is my target customer and what are the needs of that customer. When your product matches that market need, the startup has probably achieved product market fit. And that is when you will see customers using your product, customers talking about your product to other people, and your sales conversions happening, right? Before that, and why I am saying this, and this may not be relevant in a sales discussion, but sales in a startup before and after product market fit, or anything that a company does before and after product market fit, is very different. Before product market fit, you are trying to find out the product market fit, which is what is the end customer segment, what is the niche segment around which my product has to be built. Once you know this is the segment, let's say I have built a educational software, and my educational software could be for parents, could be for college going students, could be for working professionals, could be for school kids, could be for teachers. But let's say I have built an educational software. The moment I know my target segment is schools, private schools which have fees above 5,000 rupees per month, I know I have 100 customers, I have 50 customers who are using it, who are happy with my product, who are probably talking about my product. That's the stage when I have discovered as a startup that I have product market fit, and my intention from there on is to go from 50 schools to 5,000 schools as end customers, or 5 lakh schools, right? And also build more on the product. Most of you, when you join startups in sales, you will join companies that have achieved a product market fit, which means they have a product which they have a few customers, the customers are using the product, and it is an iterative cycle. The interesting part is, unlike large companies, sales teams have a very, very strong role, or an important role, in discovering product market fit. Typically what happens in a large company, this is the product, go sell it, right? A startup is in the process of discovering, building, improving, and iterating on their product. So when you go to sell the product will never be full ready, right? You will probably say you will be told, this is the product, this is the customer that we solve for, this is the problem we solve, right? What you need to be able to do is, when you go to the market, you need to also capture feedback for your product team, for your company, saying, this is what the customers are saying, this is what we should probably change, this is what we should probably build more so that customers will use more. And in my experience, some of our best, I would say, customer directions have come from us as sales team going to the market with an early product, getting that feedback back and saying, this is what, I'll give you an example, very, very clear example. How many of you have heard of Gupshup? So Gupshup is a unicorn, right? It's one of the most valued startups. There was a time when Gupshup's main product was a consumer B2C product, which we wanted to monetize by advertising. I was one of the first people who was responsible for selling ads for Gupshup, SMS Gupshup, right? We were talking to multiple customers, and our intent was, so we had a free product on which we said we will do advertising and make money, right? And cover for the cost of the product. I used to sell to insurance companies, banks, everybody who wanted to probably advertise, right, on digital marketing. And this is way back in 2007, 8 I am talking about, right? One of my customer meetings, and we had a very good product, engineering wise, technically very good product. One of my end customers said, we like your product, we are facing challenges, we are facing some problems with our enterprise SMSs that we send. Why can we use can you build something for us, or when we use your product to solve a different need that we have, right? We came back to our team and we were getting the same message from a few customers. There were competitors who were already doing what the customer was asking us to do, but maybe they thought our skill is better, our engineering is better, and we can do a better product. Based on that customer feedback from multiple customers or a few customers, we dig deeper, we did some more research, is when Enterprise Gupshup was born. And Enterprise Gupshup is today the largest enterprise SMS messaging company in the country. And then obviously it has also then evolved into a conversational messaging, conversational commerce kind of a product over the last few years, right? So as a startup salesman, very important to look at and hear to market feedback. Not to say if you are in a large company, you don't listen to customer feedback, but what customer feedback can do in a startup has huge implications for the startup's future, right? And positively. So be listening to customers, look at what the customer is asking for, what needs of the customer can you solve for, and you will probably, if you're in a pre-product market fit company, you will help the customer company achieve product market fit better and faster. Yeah. So there are multiple frameworks in B2B sales that people talk about. I believe this is the most simple thing that you can remember in any sales job. Who are you selling to? What are they buying? And why are they buying? Very, very, very important, right? If you can't solve for these three things, you are hitting in the dark. So you should know, my customer is the chief financial officer of an insurance company. That's my target customer, right? What are they buying? They are probably buying a invoice reconciliation software to reduce errors, to reduce time to process invoices. Why are they buying? Because my solution automates and improves efficiency over manual work that their 10 people team does today. This is just an example of a customer of a product company trying to sell to a insurance company an invoice reconciliation software, right? So I whenever in doubt, whenever somebody asks you, even in an interview, how do you sell? Remember these three things. If you start a conversation with this in an interview or even in a real customer meeting, I think this is very, very important. So if you are talking to a company as a prospective employee also for an interview, ask them these three questions. What is your product? Who are you selling to? And why are they selling to? And why is focused on what customer need is your product or solution solving, right? What is essentially, what are they buying? Are they buying software? Are they buying hardware? Are they buying a license? Are they buying a subscription? Are they paying one time? And who is essentially, which is the type of company that you want to sell to? Within that type of company also, who is your buyer, right? This will help you a lot in terms of thinking through any customer, any company. So when you research a company also, try and look at what are these three things. Who are they? What do they do? And why they do they do that? I'll just take a pause here. Any questions? Any thoughts so far? I have a question from Brijesh. ब्रिजेश कुछ बोल रहे हो आप, बताओ. How do you find target client of a product? Rajesh, what do you do right now? I can't hear you, Rajesh. If you're speaking, maybe you're speaking on. You're an interior designer, okay? And what kind of customers do you have today? You do furniture manufacturing. Any particular type of furniture? Wood? What is it? Cheap? Is it very expensive? What is your product? Expensive, right? So see, you are essentially, again, you sell to offices or you sell to individual homes. So you will have to look at that, what homes, right? So you are essentially, in some sense, a B2C business because you are selling to an end customer. Your channels of, you're doing affiliate marketing, you will probably have to go through, you do B2B also. So see again, I would say the strategies for B2B will be very different from B2C. If you're selling to homes, you will probably, depending on whether you sell only in a particular city or you want to sell across the country, you will have to decide the channels, right? So maybe we will, I think, Rajesh, with yours is a very detailed question. We'll have to probably discuss offline in detail. Let me look at some other questions that are coming. एक बार देखते हैं, रुकिए, होल्ड कीजिए. डॉक्टर उपेंद्र कसम. उपेंद्र, आप क्या करते हैं? What do you do? Estimate total market size and target customers to build product and solutions. क्या करते हैं आप? थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड दीजिए आपके क्वेश्चन का और आपका.
B2B fiber connectivity, fiber designing.
You design fiber
network. We help the telecom operators.
So, but in your case, so when you say telecom operators, you mean like Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, and BSNL and Reliance?
Correct.
What company do you represent?
Magnasoft,
right? So you already have a product which is fiber. You build and deploy fiber networks for telecom operators, right?
Yeah, we are more into digital twin, 3D modeling, digital twin for telecom tower, digital twin, and also trying to help them to connect the fiber for the particular city or area what the operator wanted by using special applications.
See, your market is very defined. You have given very large customers in the country. Those are the ones you will talk to and you will sell to, right? Correct. So if you have certain customers, you should probably look at what more can I do for the same customers, and how can I get into the newer customers, which could be in your territory that they want to deploy towers, like you said, digital twin for towers, or they want to expand their fiber network.
Yes.
Shivajit, you have a question.
सर जैसे अगर इंटीरियर बिजनेस है, तो उसके लिए अगर हमें B2B अगर अप्रोच करना है तो हम कैसे करेंगे? सेल करना है तो?
See, okay, so we will come to the market. So B2B furniture, let's take a B2B furniture as an example, right? Now, what is it that you are building? Do you build office furniture?
We do interior design, we're in design service also. So वो हम करते हैं. इसी के साथ रेसिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट्स भी करते हैं एंड कमर्शियल प्रोजेक्ट भी कर रहे हैं. बट कमर्शियल प्रोजेक्ट में हमें जाना है लाइक स्पेसिफिक बैंकिंग का हो गया, या फिर उनके जो इंटीरियर डिजाइन हो गए, या कोई छोटे कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिसेस हो गए छोटे, उसमें अगर मुझे अंदर जाना है तो मैं कैसे एंट्री करूंगा?
See, two things, right? In your business, एक बार एक ऑफिस का इंटीरियर डिजाइन हो जाए तो वो 5 साल 10 साल बाद होता है, right? So you should look at businesses which are expanding, which could be a builder building a new society, that where you can probably tie up and give an offer where you say anybody who buys a flat in your society, I will give them a specific proposition on an offer or a pre-designed flat, right? Okay. So you will, instead of getting 5 customers in a 500 society, you will probably get 100 because you tie up with the builder, right? That is one. If you go to branch, let's say banks, right? Look at banks which are increasing more number of branches and say, in this area, I have a specialization, I have a strength in procuring and deploying and implementing interior design. Similarly, retail stores, because offices will be difficult. Because if you want to build a scalable B2B model, I would go for apartments, stores, bank branches, ATMs, which are sort of increasing their presence, right? So that when you go to a customer, you get probably 10 orders or 50 orders and not just one office order. Similarly, when you go to a builder, you probably get more. Similarly, you can go to a loan agent in your area. When somebody is taking a loan for a new flat, you can give them an offer and you tie up that. So you will get more leads through that. So if I am, let's say, in the ICICI bank in your area, right? I go to the bank, I'll probably figure out a way with the sales reps of the bank. So whatever loan they are selling, if I can create a mechanism where I get those leads of people who are taking loans for new homes, it will give me an opportunity to, go and propose my offering there. So leads is very, very important. If you have a good, I'll talk about that, lead and how do you really build a funnel and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay.
1 second, let me see what kya hai. Why does it take more time in B2B and B2C? B2B furniture to sale. Chinmay, can you detail your question?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity, Kapil. So I work in a company. It's a startup. We deal with paperwork basically. So we help companies in India to put up their expansion plans anywhere in the world, like Europe or Singapore or Middle East. And we handle the end-to-end paperwork for setting up of the company.
Okay.
So I work here as a business consultant.
Okay.
And practically the major problem which we are facing right now is, before we used to do the same organic marketing, like digital organic channels like digital marketing, and we used to get a good amount of leads from various SMMs such as LinkedIn or other parts like Google. But right now, what the major problem is, we are running due to high expenditure. We are having a budget which is not getting feasible, and when we are looking for another alternative funnels. So which is when I'm looking to create a funnel right now through different trying to get into through some forums and try to pitch for services.
Any particular markets you are focused on?
No, we pretty much help from a large MNC to startups. Our niche, we don't have anything called as a niche, but we are open framed work policy. Like our target clients are like from across MNC to the startups as well.
So if I was you, I would probably look at which are the top 10 countries where people are opening offices, new or branches, right? Where companies are wanting to expand, right? Let's say India, China, Brazil, whatever those 10 top countries. I would create a very strong online content strategy where I will start publishing content and create blogs. This background music, whoever is there, can you go on mute, please?
Is it from my end? Let me just give me 1 second.
Not your end. I don't know who that is, but yeah. Okay, now it's better. So if I was you, I would probably look at creating a content-driven strategy where anybody, any company, any startup wanting to open an office in Brazil, when they search for online for doing business in Brazil, registration of a company in Brazil, my blog should come top, which will talk about process of opening a company, challenges in opening a company, or ease of business in company, best cities in Brazil to open an office, what are the regulations for different industries in financial, in retail, so that it clearly gets me the buyer to my page, and I will then be able to qualify and create a chatbot there where people can talk to my sales rep and get my first attempt would be get in front of that customer on a Zoom call or a Teams call and talk to them, right?
Got it. So sorry to cut you, Marvin. So I have a team of technically I have a person who handles the strategic initiatives who is currently working with a freelancer who helps us with the contents for incorporating in, let's say, setting up in Singapore. What are the challenges faced and why is it an ideal location for a startup? Correct. Basically, what is the USP which I am seeing in Indian clients is that they are preferring Singapore as the location because of taxes. The tax regime in India is much complex when compared to Singapore, and that is when
you will have to publish a lot of content around it and make sure your website has search engine optimization, so people when they search for opening office in Singapore, your website comes up. When they land on their page, you have to optimize your entire experience on your website so that I am tempted to either call you, email you, or talk to your chat agent and give you an opportunity to meet me over virtually or in physical. That's the lead cycle.
So right now, yeah, that probably the major factor is because of that, because we were branded in another name. So we have done a rebranding right now, and we have changed the name of our organization to complete different thing. So with a little bit of lot of advantages, another like something like valuations, we added everything. So we are like a bunch of professionals with us, right? So we do the valuations and everything. So that is the main reason why probably I think we are facing the challenge of shortage of leads right now.
So
And
that will
yeah,
take time because any brand that resets their identity, Google's search engine algorithms will sort of take time to discover your new identity and rank your page higher up.
okay,
Yeah. Next
that might be.
question. One second, let me just ask. Vishwajit, you were asking why does B2B take more time than B2C? तो थोड़ा
Yes.
background बताइए कुछ क्या what are you referring to here?
Sir, actually, we are dealing in software and website we sell.
Okay.
So this is new experience over here, but our sales don't close like for 2 to 3 months. So what can be done?
So you build websites.
Website and ERP software, sir.
Build करते हैं ERP software है आपका?
सर हमारा है भी और हम कस्टमाइज बिल्ड भी कर दे जैसे रिक्वायरमेंट होगी उस हिसाब से.
ERP सॉफ्टवेयर किस टाइप के कस्टमर के लिए है? जो आपका खुद का प्रोडक्ट है, इज इट फॉर लेट्स से रियल एस्टेट और इज इट फॉर फार्मा? व्हाट टाइप ऑफ कस्टमर? अभी तक किस टाइप के कस्टमर है?
सर सब टाइप के डोमेन के लिए बनाते हैं हम, जैसे हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम हुआ, स्कूल मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए.
अभी तक किसके लिए बनाया है पास्ट में?
सर स्कूल के लिए भी बनाया है, उसके बाद हॉस्पिटल के लिए बनाया है, फिर एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट के लिए भी बनाया है कुछ.
तो टाइम इसलिए लगता है क्योंकि B2B का बजट ज्यादा होता है. अगर आप कपिल को बेच रहे हैं शायद आप 1000, 2000, 5000, 10,000 रुपए की चीज बेच रहे होंगे, राइट? अगर आप एक स्कूल हॉस्पिटल को बेच रहे हैं, आप 1 लाख, 2 लाख, 5 लाख, 50,000, 15 लाख, 1 करोड़ की चीज बेच रहे हैं. So organizations have their own obviously budget is higher, hence the time takes more. They have their own process of evaluation of what they want to buy, whom they want to buy, hence it take time. What you should do is look at आपने past में जिसमें भी किया है, ज़्यादा schools किए हैं, ज़्यादा hospitals किए हैं, focus on that, go after that rather than saying हम सबके लिए बनाएंगे. This is my advice. Otherwise you are a services company, आपको जो काम बोलेगा आप वो करेंगे. अगर आप अपना प्रोडक्ट बना के उसको स्केल अप करना चाहते हैं कि हम ERP for schools और ERP for hospitals because what will happen is आप 3 स्कूल के बाद जब 10 स्कूल और करेंगे ना, आपका प्रोडक्ट और जो है ना वो बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा, बिकॉज यू विल हैव फीडबैक एंड यू विल बी एबल टू इनकॉर्पोरेट कस्टम रिक्वायरमेंट्स फ्रॉम 10 डिफरेंट स्कूल्स. सो द 11th school will be much more easier than going to 5 schools and 5 hospitals.
Yes, sir. And so what could be another approach to gain customers? Like should we, as we are a new company or mostly like a startup, so should we go and approach them? Like what could we do?
Both, I would say. Which city are you based in?
Pune, sir.
So schools buy most schools in India, they may do research online, but they will want to meet you in person, right? So do your online marketing, do your social media marketing, but have your field sales in Pune. Focus on Pune only. I would say focus on one particular segment, schools or hospital, and go after them. Get 10, 15, 20, 100 customers, and then go and look into a different space. But that would be my advice.
Going personally and meeting would be a great option in the beginning.
Yes. Because in India, while people do research online, schools don't buy online. They will not put their credit card and buy online so far. And
Yes,
they
sir.
will want to see a demo. They will want to see a person coming. India is still a very, very face-to-face market.
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next. Sorry. Let me just go back on my presentation. What is the next question? So career in digital marketing. Oh, this is from Brajesh. So digital marketing is a great field, yaar. If you're doing an MBA, pick up side projects. So a lot of digital marketing you can learn online. You may need an MBA for a degree perspective, but to learn digital marketing you don't really need to do a MBA, but you do that, but on the side learn online, pick up small assignments, pick up some freelance projects and build your expertise and skill. And it's a very, very growing segment, and there will always be jobs as well as freelance opportunities. Next is Mahesh. How to do marketing for a B2b EV sector? We manufacture batteries. Mahesh, do you sell to, whom do you sell to? Would you sell to a scooter manufacturer, EV bike manufacturer, or a car manufacturer? Whom do you sell to, Mahesh?
So we basically sell to the L3 and L5, like three-wheeler segment.
Three-wheeler segments, right? So
Yeah.
in your market, obviously there are only probably your customers and potential customers are all known, right? 15, 20 manufacturers, right?
Yes, sir.
So besides being obviously having the sales team to cover, and yours is a very, very large customer. One customer cracked can give you a lot of volume.
Lot of volume, yes.
Right? So, but there are many other people who are building what you're building. So you'll have to have a very, what is the product differentiation?
So to be honest, ours is the only company in India right now who properly technically builds a battery, a lithium-ion battery.
So what is the company name?
A Green Tech Motor. We are based out of Chennai, sir.
What is and do you have a customer right now?
Yes, sir. We do have customer big names to consider, Daimler like that.
So what is the challenge that you're facing?
So for now, the challenge is the products that we have manufactured. Those are like segment specific. Like there are few products like L3, L5 automobile focused. So we are not able to capture them for now because right now currently we are focused on the market which we our old customers. So we are maintaining them and we are surviving. But how to grow thereafter? So for that,
you think some products, some product that you have don't have customers. Some have, but old ones have, new ones don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Which are, and new ones are for what kind of customers?
Those are for L3 segment, L3 and L5 segment.
What is L3, L5?
Yes, sir. Basically three-wheeler segment, sir. Three-wheeler.
So which is like so TVS, Bajaj, and so on and so forth, right?
Yes, sir.
And I think the commercial three-wheeler segment also, which
Yes,
is
sir.
probably. So I think, so you, again, your end customers are very large. You need to have sales executives who cover those customers, right? And yours will be a very long sales cycle.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether it can even go into 1 year.
Yes,
right?
it goes around 6 months to 1 year.
Yes. So typically, so I think whatever you're doing is right. Yours is a very involved, high value sale. Any deal will be multiple crores of deals, at least, right? Even a small pilot will be 1 crore rupees for you, probably, right? So you need to hire, I think, people who know that industry. Your sales executives should, if I was building a sales team, I would probably hire somebody who sells to TVS already. He may be selling something else, but he will know the TVS organization, who is the buyer, who is the influencer, who is the gatekeeper, who is the decision maker, very, very well. It will cut down my sales cycle, because नहीं तो मैं वो discovery करता रहूँगा कि TVS में internal politics और dynamics क्या है.
So, for the question, the same domain, like we are also targeting a new manufacturers, OEMs, nothing but the new startups, those who manufacture the L3 automobile segment.
Okay.
So in that segment, how should you proceed? Because those are also startups.
Same. So they may be more open. In fact, if you look at it, they may be more open to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But also look at a startup will always want to, or any customer. The other thing is, how can your proposition be different? Can you, instead of saying this is a battery, it will cost you 1 lakh rupees, can you say this is a battery, it will cost you 2,000 rupees a month and for 3 years? So can you change the conversation from your competition, which is, or whoever it is? Can you make your product into instead of a capital expense of 1 lakh rupees, into a 2,000 rupee per month kind of a subscription? I don't know what is your exact product, challenges, but look at it this way. If it will, what can bring down my inhibition, my resistance to buying your product or trying your product, if I don't have to block if let's say I need 100 batteries and 1 lakh batteries will cost 1 crore rupees. Instead of paying you 1 crore rupees, if I have to pay you 2,000 rupees into 100, it's 2 lakh rupees a month. Obviously, the risk is coming to you because I may, after 6 months, say, no, I don't like your product. But if you want to make that entry, maybe for 100 pieces, you may want to do that kind of a pilot or POC. That you are free to stop whenever you want to stop, but I will charge you 2 lakh rupees a month for 100 batteries. That look at those dynamics also for some of your early customers who may want to de-risk their initial attempts to work with you.
Okay, sure, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It was helpful.
Thank you. Just looking at the questions. ज्ञानेश थोड़ा सा आप अपने क्वेश्चन के बारे में बताइए मुझे कॉन्सेप्ट सेलिंग और प्रोडक्ट सेलिंग जो बोल रहे हैं आप.
Sir, basically what happens, suppose a company like a India Mart or a Just Dial or something like that, so they present the packages where a business will be enhanced, but it is not sure that it will be enhanced or not. So we have to show data and something like that. So we have to convince the customers a lot. So it becomes a very tough to sell that. And in product selling, we have the product to show. Sir, this is a product, this is a quality, it's something.
So you work for India Mart, क्या?
Basically, I was working with India Mart, but currently now I'm working in JSW. So my question is that how can we deal with that type of customers where the concept is involved, where we have only stats and data to show, not a product.
See the interesting thing, हाँ. So आप जिस segment की बात करें ना, most online products are concept products, right? There is no physical product. There is no, जैसे Mahesh was talking of a battery as a physical product. In your case and in most online businesses, there is no physical product, right? There is only a sort of a service. Focus on the pain point you are solving for the customer. You are basically talking of, I will help you grow the business. I will come to that. Maybe I'll jump to that slide. In any pitch, what is your pitch? In any business, what is your pitch? Ideally your pitch in any business should be a one-line summarizing what your product or service does, how do they do it, and who do they do it for. And to answer your question, reference past conversations. Start by asking them a question which is focused on what is their business challenge or that they want to solve. Keep it short. Highlight benefits and features. Highlight benefits, not features. Anchor on data. So what you are saying that you have data to show, that is I think a very, very good thing. Tell a story of this was a customer, they used our product, this is what my product did for them. Their sales went up or their cost came down or their efficiency increased. What did your if you tell stories, people can relate to that. And keep it more conversational and not necessarily यार मैं बोल के निकल गया अब आपको समझ में आया कि नहीं आया, that is your problem. So it should not be, never be that. And any meeting with a customer, I think this is true for any business, you should know what do I want to achieve from that meeting. मुझे क्या outcome चाहिए? Do I want what should be the in some meetings the outcome will be the customer will say here is the PO, I want to buy a product, but most likely not. There will be other outcomes that you can say. I want a next meeting with his boss. I want a meeting with either the finance team. I want a meeting with his team who will try my product, or I want to do a POC, or I want to give them a free 1 month trial. So know what you want to get out of that meeting. And based on that, because कई बार क्या होता है हम मीटिंग करके निकल जाते हैं, कॉफी चाय पी ली, बहुत अच्छी बात हुई, लेकिन ये नहीं पता what is the next stage that we want to drive the conversation to. So this, and I can share my slides with you guys. This is what I have always learned in my life. If you focus on your meeting around this, it will always help you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 second. Office space lease rent, real estate startup, phrase from Bangalore startup. So, Ryan, what do? You are basically a broking firm that connects tenants to landlords.
Yes, Malvi.
Sorry?
Yes, we do that. We're into broker firm.
So, B2B, see, companies work And what kind of customer do you focus for? Small customers and customers? Would you
both from startup to MNC and larger companies?
Okay. So I think you will need to build a network of real estate / admin heads in different companies. That is your end customer. Who, if a company wants to shift office or build a new office or expand their office, it is given to either the finance head, and below the finance head there is a real estate / admin head. That is what your target segment. So focus on that, focus on any events that are happening around those people, go and meet those people, build a network of those and focus on them. Again, if you say I am a HSR specialist or a Whitefield specialist, focus deeper on that market. So because otherwise there are maybe 1,000 brokers or 500 brokers in Bangalore who focus on B2B real estate, right? So know your unique selling proposition.
Okay.
Amit, sorry, your question is, does partnership model help, referring to B2B RP automation, target customer SMEs? Give me an example. Amit, थोड़ा सा background बताओ.
Hey, Kapil.
Amit, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are now.
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon. So, Kapil, I was referring to let's say, for example, a lot of small business owners as well as small mid-sized companies. They're looking to automate their workflows and the business processes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they don't have proper, maybe I would say, infrastructure as well as the manpower to actually. So
Amit,
most of the.
What do you do?
So basically, I've just started a company in this particular field. So I'm actually focusing towards the power automate related services as well as RP automation related services. And at the same time, the business insights where it will cover the business intelligence related.
Do you have a customer so far?
So right now I don't have the customer. I'm in the initial phases.
What is your background? पहले क्या किया हुआ आपने?
So I was in Singapore. I'm an ex Microsoft. I used to also I worked in other startups as well. So I was into sales. Yeah.
My advice would be this.
Right.
See, customers and even more small and medium customers will not understand business process automation, use case and this language.
Right.
Figure out one problem. If I am the HR head, so what in a small and medium enterprise, you should be able to say for the finance head or accounts head or the HR head of this business. See, look at my language. For the finance head, sales head or HR head or engineering head of a business could be school, college, manufacturing company, retail company. My solution does this. This could be reduce the errors, improve the productivity, increase the revenue, remove the or reduce the time taken to process salary, right? Or increase sales. I would say create a narrative around this, right?
Yeah. So basically the use cases as well will help.
Focus on use cases, focus on end customer type, focus on end industry type. Otherwise, you will be lost. कि यार वो मीटिंग कर लेगा, उसका समझ नहीं आएगा, वो कहेगा आप आईटी वाले के पास चले जाओ.
हाँ, right.
वो आईटी वाला बोलेगा मेरे मतलब so the moment you say this, he will say yes, I like it, but let's bring my IT team also into discussion. Because then he'll say अगर कोई IT team है या नहीं है, वो बोलेगा है ही नहीं, आप करके दे दो. So then I think it will become more interesting conversation.
Right. Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Kapil.
So I'll take a stop here. So Palak, this format is fine. We're mostly interacting, Madhuri and Palak, or I can also go back to my slides. But I think I'll bring up my slides wherever we need to. I'm just also trying to be cognizant of the time. Okay, we're already at 12:50.
Yeah, Kapil, I think this is great because a lot of participants have questions for you and they're like looking for answers. So I think this is absolutely fine the way you're taking.
Perfect. I will also just maybe focus on a couple of things that I wanted to highlight to people.
Sure.
Right. So again, just going from who, see, buyer persona is something that everybody wants to talk about within marketing and sales. Basically, marketing uses it for improving their messaging, improving your traffic to build funnel and leads. Sales wants to, if I am a salesman, I want to know whom I want to target, and then I want maximum meetings and I want maximum conversations and conversion and pipeline and revenue. So that is why my buyer persona is important. A buyer persona, like for any business, between marketing, sales and product development, there is the fourth element of any sale is the buyer and his expectation. The buyer element or buyer persona is at the center of it. मैं उस किसके लिए किसको क्या बेचना चाहता हूँ, उसकी क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करूँगा. दैट इज आवर फोकस ऑन buyer persona. So if you look at, try and this is more a storytelling conversation. Going to any sales meeting is initially you have to build up my story. Whom am I selling to and what kind of a person he is, right? If you may say, why do we need almost all this? You will not have all this information, but think of what all does your buyer care about. What is his motivation? Why will he buy a product? What is his problem and what is his fear about in life or in his job or in even buying your product, right? What kind of a person he is, because you need to be an interesting conversationalist in many of the conversations, right? What is a deal breaker ki wo nahi kharidega, right? It could be a product compliance, it could be cost, it could be integration with their existing product, and so on and so forth, right? Again, most buyers will have different styles, right? Some of them will be very, very clear, tell me how your product is different. Okay, I have got you. Let's make the decision. Some will want to consult their teams. No buyer will be in one of these baskets. Everybody will be a mix of, like we are humans, right? We have different traits. So you will see people having different traits, and you will have to probably balance out what kind of person you are talking to, and your pitch or sales meeting will have to be tuned around that. Yeah. If you are a startup or if you are working for a startup, understand these terms. This will be relevant to you in your own business also. Burn rate is how much I am. What is the cost of my business every month? How much am I spending? Let's say I have 10 people. I have a 5 to 1 office. Let's say that's my only cost. Let's say there is some admin IT cost. Maybe my cost of my business is 10 lakh rupees. I need to spend 10 lakh rupees to keep the business running. That is my burn rate. 10 lakh rupees a month, 1.2 crores a 1 second. Is this slide visible to you? Startup metrics to people?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, Kapil, it's visible.
Okay. Because I saw a comment.
Yeah.
I think Upendra was not able to see it. Customer acquisition cost is, in B2B typically, it is the cost of, let's say I spend in B2C and B2B, let's say I spend every month 10 lakh rupees on digital marketing, right? It gives me maybe 10,000 leads. Out of those 10,000 leads, I convert 1,000 leads. So 1,000 customers I got by spending 10 lakh rupees. So 10 lakh divided by 1,000 is my customer acquisition cost. How much do I need to spend to get one customer? It may not be very, very simple in B2B, but B2C, that's how B2C looks at. What is my Facebook marketing budget? What is my LinkedIn marketing budget? What is my customer call center budget? Because they need to call, follow up, and eventually get a customer to buy. What is my monthly recurring revenue? This is again relevant from a startup perspective, because if I am selling a subscription or or something that where people pay for every month, it's a recurring revenue. What is the lifetime value is, if you pay me 2,000 rupees a month and typically you use my product for 3 years, my lifetime value is 2,000 into 12 into 3. And churn rate is, if I have 100 customers, how many will drop off, how many will stop using my product every month, every year. So I need to add more customers, otherwise I will not grow, I will decay, I will stop, and I will end my business. So if I have 100 customers, my churn rate is 10. which means next month I will have 90. Unless I add 10 more or 20 more. If I add 10 more, I am at 100 only. If I add 20 more, I will go to 110. So that is how your growth or stagnation or your drop in business will look like. This I think we've covered. So this is very, very important, right? I think for a salesperson, very important is to figure out whether I am talking to the right person or not. Because in your sales manager, if you're an employee or if you're in your business, where you will want to know how much business will I do this month, next quarter, next year, right? So when you talk to 10 different people, try and answer in the first 2 to 3 meetings. You should have answers for these 4 questions. Do they have the budget to buy what you want to sell to them? The person you are talking to, is he the decision maker or not? Or if he is not, who's the decision maker? How will I get to the decision maker? What is the problem my product is solving for them? Do they acknowledge that this is a problem or not? Do they accept that your problem will solve that problem or not? If not, what do I need to do that? Maybe there is something missing in how I am presenting my solution. Maybe there is something missing in my demo or my story that I am telling. And timeline. This is the biggest thing. Most times I hear that people say, our deals don't close. My customers are like my product, they don't close. And they will always keep postponing it. So you need to know, and if you know this timeline well, you will be able to forecast your sales better. If you know that I have 5 deals, 2 of them will close in this quarter, 3 will close, 2 will close in another next 6 months, and 1 will close maybe after a year or don't close, I don't know. Putting that probability, you will be able to say, this is my total funnel pipeline, this is my forecast for the year or for the month. Yeah. So this is an example of how people should measure, and any company will do that, but eventually it will come down to your level also, right? Because if you look at, so this is interesting. While this is important for a sales, for a startup, any large and small company, when a company is listed in the stock exchange also, they typically say my FY22 revenue was 500 crores. Next year, and most companies will also give a guidance for the next year. This is how I expect to grow, or this is how the market is tough, I may not grow. Based on stock reacts, right? But how do they get that guidance, right? Which is essentially to say, if I have 100 salespeople, I know how much will each of them sell. I aggregate that to the top level, to the company level. But now if I talk about Kapil as an account or a sales manager, account manager or a salesman, right? Let's say I have 30 deals. And let's say my average deal size is 10 lakh rupees. Total value of my deals is 3 crores, 13 to 10. And let's say based on past historic data, I know that I close 150% of my funnel opportunities or so on and so forth, right? And I know that typically 30 days is what it takes. So what is my sales velocity? If you actually look, I have to measure sales productivity. I will say 30 into 10 divided by into 50% divided by 30, 5 lakh rupees per day is my sales velocity. So how do I, if I am the sales head of a company, if I have to increase, these are the levers that I will play on. Deals I can improve, sales will go up. Deal size if I can improve, sales will go up. Deal close rate, if I improve or reduce, it will have an impact on my total forecast, my velocity and everything. If I can reduce length of sales cycle by whatever means, by improving my demos, by getting to people, marketing can probably sometimes help you reduce the length of sales cycle, right? These are the levers that people look at in terms of sales metrics and that people track. So how is sales as a job different in startup than large companies, right? Typically what will happen is in most founders and leadership will be very, very involved with sales teams and sales account managers. This will throw a lot of opportunities for you for your career, because you will have the visibility, you will have the opportunities for growth. But sales in a startup is also a high pressure job. It is not for everyone. It is because you have to be agile and listening to the customer and bringing revenue also, or the right feedback. So it is both a positive and some not for everyone kind of a thing. Building credibility with customers is tough for any startup. I remember a day when I used to work for initially Gupshup was actually called MobiKwik. Oh, Gupshup was called Weberoo. When I used to call customers, I used to say I'm calling from Weberoo. People used to know Yahoo then, right? And so they were never sure what is Weberoo. So they would ask me, what is Weberoo? So you will have to, building that credibility is very, very important with customers. It is tough. And you need to be persistent around it, right? Third is, in a startup, the company's direction will change sometimes very fast. Your job will change very fast. Today, company saying we are focusing on this segment, this product. Tomorrow they'll say, no, the market has changed. We have a more acceptance in this segment with this product. So you will be ready to be, if you want a very, very stable job without, I won't say stable job. If you want very clear guidelines on everything, then the sales in a startup is not necessarily that you should be looking at. But let me probably conclude with this. If you look at the largest companies in the world, all CEOs have done sales at some point of time. Whether you look at, even companies like Cisco, my India head, you started as an account manager. My global head, Chuck Robbins, started as a sales manager. So because sales is very, very, क्या कहते हैं उसको, धरती पे ले आता है आपको. आप ऑफिस में बैठ के तो आप you can make stories and products and Excel sheets and presentations. When you go and meet customers, it is very humbling as an experience, because you will face rejections. You have to be able to take rejections and deal with customers tantrums and everything. So unless you are willing to do this and be up for it, but it's a great career. I think I just wish all of you the best in terms of your career in sales as a journey. And you are learning at Juno, and I hope it is a rewarding experience. But irrespective of whether you do a career in sales or not, remember that to succeed, you will have to sell to even in internal teams in a company, right? If you are setting up your business, you will have to sell to employees that why should they join you, right? Today, every employee has multiple choices of good careers, right? Why should he join your company? You should have, if you are raising money for your business, if you're raising investment, you have to sell to investors. Why should they invest in your company? And then eventually you're selling to customers. Why should they buy your product? So like somebody, Imadri said in the beginning, right? Sales is something that all of us do, and is a great life skill to probably have. I think my presentation is over here, but I think we can continue for some more time, talk about more questions that I can answer here. I will stop sharing here. We can 10 more minutes. I think we can talk.
So one question, sir. This is Upender.
Yeah.
For B2B, what is the sales velocity, sir? Because B2B it won't close within 30 days.
So it's different. So that was an example, right? Like Mahesh's sales velocity would be anywhere between 180 days to 1 year. He's selling batteries to an automobile manufacturer. So a new customer will not buy easily, right? B2B, depending on what product you are selling, what is the value of that average deal, and your customer's behavior. So if you can we can talk about some examples if you have any particular context.
Yes, sir. I will give an example. So Magnasoft is a company.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to make a digital twin model for telecom towers.
Have you're trying to make, you have a product already on this?
Yeah, we have done 1 or 2. We want to replicate across the world.
Okay. So you want to sell globally?
Globally. So
okay.
We were trying to find out the 5G is coming up, so that tower infrastructure 5G is coming up, so 5G.
Yeah,
so tower infrastructure is much more important, more visually 3D perspective. So this at this point of time maybe value addition, but they don't get an ROI now. But how we want to position, so that's what we are studying, total market size of the towers, how much percentage they go for the digital twin for investment. So how to get it done, just kind of
there will be some industry reports. You are talking at a global market level. There will be some industry reports on the tower market and people investing in digital twin. It may not be very, very clear right now, because digital twin itself is a new concept in overall and also in the tower market, right? So, yes. But if you can get an estimate of what is the number of towers per tower spend that a telco does, and what is the global spend, or in a particular market, I think you may want to look at, rather than looking at the global, you should look at what markets you want to go after, and focus on those. If you have a couple of customers who've piloted with you, try and go deeper into those customers. But in your case also, my sense is the sales cycle will be much longer.
Yeah. As of now, we could not able to showcase any ROI or operation cost saving. This look like more an additional benefit, which help to reduce the field visits. Because since you are getting all information covered digitally in the 3D view.
No, if you can reduce the number of visits, try and quantify it by reducing number of manpower hours and cost. And if you are able to do something proactive monitoring, try and quantify it into, if something goes down, what does it cost the customer? A downtime of a tower for 1 day is probably X thousand rupees or X lakh dollars. How much of it can you save? Or if you are reducing sales visits or visits by the field man, if my 2 people can do what 10 people were doing, that's a reduction in 8 people's this thing, right?
Yes.
So try and quantify, because otherwise it will be good to have, and people will do it as a science project and drop it after that.
And followed only one question, sir. We are targeting now US market and Canada and the UK. 3 market we are focusing. So, because since it is not a B2C, it's more into the B2B.
Do you have a field sales in Canada and US?
Yeah, we just hired 1 person. We are planning to hire 1 more person in the US. So our target customers are telecom operator or maybe tower who tower can manage tower costs. Yeah, those companies. Only
my advice would be hire from the industry, people who know that industry. Otherwise, whoever you have hired will take 1 year to understand whom to talk to and which people to talk to.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? This is the question on fear of missing out. What is that? I don't know who's asked that. Ganesh, can you tell me what is your question here?
Sir, I'm asking about the slide you showed band budget authority need timeline. So last is timeline. So what does in sales happen? Suppose we are presenting anything, product or something. So people like that. But after that, sometimes he told, no, I will buy next day. So every sales guy have a fear of missing out, whether he will take or not. So we should concentrate on that only, or we should not have a FOMO that if this not happen, it will not achieve my sales target. How could we can deal with that?
So 2 thoughts there are here. I think after some point, so you should be persistent obviously, but also ask the right question so you will know whether he is just saying it because I'll tell you another common Indian trait. Most American customers are very direct. If they don't like your product, they will say it. Indians don't like to say no. So customers will not say no, I am not interested or I will not buy, but he'll say yeah, let's meet next week, right? So you need to, as a salesman, be able to figure out that whether it is just a tactic to delay. So it will also come back to this, whether he is the right person or not, whether he has the authority to make that decision or not, whether he has the budget to make that decision or not. So timeline is sometimes a function of that, and see the end part is very important. Whether does he, if I am a decision maker, number one, if I have the budget to buy your product and if I have the need and I accept that the product will solve my problem, the timeline, you will get a clarity on timeline. But if B, A, N, any of them is not clear, the timeline will always be very, very vague. Does it answer?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. If there are no more questions, I think we can take a pause here. Himadri, do you want to take over?
Sir, will this presentation share?
I can share this presentation. I will send it to the Juno team. They will send it to you guys.
Thanks so much, Kapil. I think, so guys, I think it was one of the most interactive sessions that we've had, Kapil, so far. so many questions, so many people asking so many questions about so many different industries. And I think these are practical challenges that people would really face. And it was really insightful in terms of you picking up examples from different industries. Really insightful. And thank you so much, Kapil. It was a pleasure to host you at Juno and you finding out time from a busy weekend. And thanks to all the participants, considering that you turned out in huge numbers and that too on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much. And let's
Thank you,
connect
guys.
next Saturday for another learning series with a new topic. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. See you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.